Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. Over the past couple days, we've been getting some on and off snowstorms. As you can see right now, we're currently getting another one. We've already gotten about 2 inches. They said we're only supposed to get 3, but it's supposed to snow for like the next 4 or 5 hours. So I'm expecting we're gonna get quite a bit more than that. My guess is around 5, but I guess we'll see. Right now I'm heading into the blue shed. We need some potatoes at the market, and we still have washed ones left from the last time we washed in crates in the cooler. And then it keeps them safe in there while they're in there, because we just had some really cold freezes, which was down to like, well, it feel like was -4, but I think the actual temperature was 7. And so in there though, it doesn't hurt them at all because it's insulated. I don't need many, just a couple. I think we're actually out of reds, if I'm correct. So I'm just gonna do some whites and then move down to the storage for the red potatoes. 10-pounders are very easy, especially when they're washed. I don't have to really examine the potatoes to see if there's any kind of bad spots on them. We already did that when we washed them, and so now I can basically just throw them in and be on my way. All right. So that's it right there, I think. Maybe one more small one in that corner. That'll do it. So then what I'll do is I will take my twister and my tire, scrunch the top, wrap that metal wire around there, and I'll take my tire, and that's it right there, 10 pounds. We try not to throw absolute jumbos, which there isn't many that are that huge, in the 10-pound bags, just because the bags are already so small, you don't get many potatoes in there. So like this size right here is kind of ideal. And maybe even a little bit smaller. Like I like to throw some of those in. Just kind of do a mixture of sizes, and we let our customers know that. That way they're not expecting a bunch of tiny ones or a bunch of jumbos. So that one's got kind of a weird spot on it, so I'll put that off to the side. We don't usually weigh our 10-pound bags just because we already fill them as full as we can get them, and then by that time, it's usually at least 10, if not a little bit more than 10 pounds. We want them to look full, so regardless, we're gonna fill them as full as they need to be, so they look just like this. And because it's snowing pretty good, I obviously cannot put them in the bed of my truck. The bags will be soaked. So I'll stow them right here in the back and haul them out. We've actually just about got enough snow to start snowmobiling. We haven't had our snowmobiles out in about like 4 years. Problem is, this snow is so light and powdery, you hit the gas and you're gonna dig right down into the grass or the field, whatever it is. Not that it's that big of a deal, but it's not really perfect conditions for snowmobiling. Like I'd like to see it. And that's kind of why I guess we never get our snowmobiles out. I might just be a little bit too picky. So here's the potato storage. If you've been following my videos, you'll know that we started out the winter season with around 15 or 16 bins. I think we had 14 bins in here, 2 bins up in our cooler, and now we're down to 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. This one's empty. This one's about half full, and this right here is our last bin of red potatoes. So once this is gone, the rest I think are all white. We do grow a yellow potato, which is called a Norwis, but I don't know if we have any of those left. We might have a bin or 2 of those left. I gotta check and see. Either way, between the whites and the yellows, both very good eating baking potato, anything you want to do with it. Reds are always good too. I don't really see a difference, but some people are very strict on what they want. So now obviously everything in here is dirty. And that's because we believe that they store better dirty. And so it's a little bit harder now to kind of identify if they have a little bit of a bad spot or not. Obviously we try to pick all the bad out in the field, but that just never happens perfectly. So I'm gonna do my best, trying to put anything even close to bad in. Also, these are quite a bit smaller than the whites. And so I won't put these baby ones in. We'll bag, we call them baby reds of 10 pounders later on once the bin starts going down and we have a ton of them. Another thing that happens throughout the winter, once potatoes start getting, you know, I'll just call it older, is they'll get these sprouts on them. If you can see that there. And that's just the potato basically trying to regrow. That's what happens when you plant it into the ground. A sprout will shoot out of, we call it the eye of the potato, and then it will make its own plant. But obviously we don't want them on, so we'll just snap them off, throw them in the garbage. And the whites don't seem to be doing that at all. That's usually normal. But the reds, we notice, started a little bit earlier, which is kind of normal for right now. But the good thing is we're almost out, and I only see, out of the hundreds of potatoes I'm looking at here, 2 altogether. So really not a big deal either. So it's the next morning. It says it's about 15 degrees out, but with the wind chill, it's saying about 3 or 4 degrees. Our pond is freezing more and more, and hopefully by tomorrow, I would like to get out on it and ice fish a little bit. Haven't ice fished on it in like 2 years. But I did put heat in the potato storage before dark last night just because I knew it was gonna be so cold, and the wind definitely doesn't help. So I'm gonna go in here now and check what the temperature is. Actually, it doesn't sound like the heat's running. Oh, it's running. So we have a 2 burner, but I only have 1 on because it wasn't needed. You can feel the warmth in here. And it says it's like 45, so yeah, that's actually getting real warm. Gonna get that shut off and not turn it on again until, well, we need it, I guess. The snow's blowing off all the roofs. Makes it nice and chilly. Dog's ready to do barn work. If you haven't noticed, this video has been pieced together over a 2-week period. That's why there's a sudden weather changes. Now, obviously, there's no snow at all, and it's about 50 degrees. That's why I'm wearing a short sleeve t-shirt. Me and Dad are just getting started bagging corn. We're gonna try and do around 60 to 70 bags because we are now completely out at our farm market. We got about 50 bags done so far. All these need to be weighed yet. That's what Dad's doing, but because we've had so much rain lately, we don't want to set them in the grass where it's kind of muddy. So we're doing everything right on the wagon. So it's the next day. I kind of apologize. I haven't been uploading near as much as I usually do. That's for two reasons. The first one being we're just not quite as busy this time of year. And the second is that I love to hunt and fish, and this is prime time for all of that. And so I've been doing a lot of that in my spare time. But now Sammy and I just got down here to the greenhouses. We're only about 2 weeks away from starting to seed. And so we gotta really do a lot in these greenhouses. One of them being cleaning the entire floor, which I know over the years, a lot of you guys have commented and said that you didn't really think it was necessary. Other farmers don't really do it, but this is what we do. This is what we're gonna keep doing. Not only does it just make the greenhouses look nice, they're cleaned up, but also there can be diseases harbored in all of this debris. So we wanna get that cleaned up, and then we're gonna go through, sanitize them with an oxidate mixture, and then we'll begin our whole seeding process, and we'll go through the whole greenhouse season. And so the greenhouses really aren't horrible. You can see we had some big weeds in here, which was there, and there. That obviously made a mess, but besides that, it's just little debris everywhere. And so I'm thinking within an hour or so, with 2 vacuums running, Sammy and I can get this whole thing done. Sammy hasn't been able to help much because she's been in classes, but she got a little bit caught up on her schoolwork, so she decided to come over and help me. What? I said you're caught up on your schoolwork. She got the better vacuum, the newer vacuum. She leaves me with the old, well actually it's not too old of the Craftsman. It's not the old good Craftsman though, it's the newer stuff.
She actually gave me something new for once.
That's my vacuum. And we also have Lily, or not Lily, Daisy. And there's Lily. We're about 3/4 of the way done. We got this whole section done here. The only thing I want to do yet is go along this wall, pull out those weeds and a little bit here. But overall it looks great. There are some holes in the floor, but this fabric is very expensive, and if we don't have to replace it, we're not going to. By the door there, we might actually just take another piece and lay it over instead of, you know, pulling it up. But that is kind of like a tripping hazard. We trip over it every year. It would be nice to get that cleaned up. But for the most part, it's going really well. I would say in the next half hour we'll be done. And that'll mean by the time I got the vacuums, got in here, wait for Sammy to get back, it only took us an hour and a half to do this whole greenhouse for 2 of us. The greenhouse isn't that big, but I'd say we're making pretty good time.
Let me help you.
So we just finished up, just like I figured, like an hour and a half. Looks really good. The only problem I see is that I guess the bunnies came in here throughout the summer and they chewed probably 10 or 15 of these drippers off. So just gonna have to get new ones, plug them in, and that should be all it takes. So now me and Sammy are gonna go down, feed the cows, and then call it a wrap for today. So it's kind of dark in the barn, can't really see a lot, but Sammy's getting their chop right now for the cows. Come on, Dace. Come on, Dace.
She's behind me.
Alrighty, so that's what I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.